Over the weekend, there were horrific terrorist attacks committed by Hamas on the nation of Israel. Leftists cheered. Yes, they really did. We're going to break that down today and more on Speechless. Cut for time. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Speechless Cut for Time. I'm your host, Kev Phares, 22-year-old conservative college student out of Central Illinois, host of Speechless on Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal, which is a radio show. But I can't necessarily cover everything on my 2 hours on Sundays, so I cover it right here. And so to make sure you don't miss a minute, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, put it to all, because we know ScrewTube is shadow banning people like me. And I honestly think they're shadow banning me as well. But again, don't forget to share this video with your friends, comment what you think, everything like that. But let's get right on into it. So I'm not going to explain the whole history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in this video because I really don't have time for that. There is a great video. It's about 5 minutes that I will tag in the comments that explains a good history of it up until about the mid-2010s. But I do have time for the simplest version of it, which is basically Israel wants to exist as the Jewish state and to live in peace. Israel also recognizes the right of Palestinians to have their own state and to live in peace. The problem, however, is that most Palestinians and many other Muslims and Arabs in the area do not recognize the right of a Jewish state of Israel to exist. Once again, I said there's a great 5-minute video. That's where I took that little excerpt from, and I will put it in the comments. It's by PragerU. Great short video to explain it. But let's talk about what happened over the weekend. Okay, so from Fox News, here's the breakdown. From Fox News, Hamas terrorists have infiltrated Israel in an unprecedented attack, firing more than 3,500 rockets at residential areas. So just places where innocent civilian lives from the Gaza Strip. So who is Hamas, everybody? Well, according to the Council of Foreign Relations, Hamas is an Islamist militant movement and one of the Palestinian territories' two major political parties. So basically half of Palestine is Hamas. Nearly 1,600 people have been killed in this war and since these terrorist attacks, including about 900 people in Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a video that Israel is at war and called for a massive military response. The attack was actually carried out on a Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I'm not Jewish. But so Hamas, the Muslim extremists, attacked Israel, the Jewish nation, on one of their holy holidays. There are also graphic videos and images circulating on social media of mass shootings, kidnapped civilians and soldiers, rape, and other violence linked with the Hamas attacks. Now, any sane person would condemn these attacks. Even ardent leftists, traditional leftists and liberals, like Mark Hamill, Josh Gad, Kylie Jenner, people in Hollywood, all posted something to condemn the attacks, to support Israel, or both. And all received shame, attacks, and hate on social media for their support from extreme leftists. Hamill has yet to address it. Frozen actor Josh Gad called out the haters and referenced his family that lives in Israel. So of course he would condemn the attacks. His family lives in Israel. And Kylie Jenner took down the post because of all the hate she was receiving. Other prominent leftists are cheering on these horrific attacks. Karen Ataya, a prominent journalist and columnist for the Washington Post, echoed a social media post by a fringe Somali that said, "What do y'all think decolonization meant?" Meaning that she thinks that the Palestinians, the Hamas terrorists, are the victims in this terrorist attack because they're oppressed or whatever by the nation that says, look, you guys have a right to have a state, but we have ours that's been actually established, and yours is not even technically a defined territory or defined state. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy that people would support, once again, look, take the whole Israel-Palestinian conflict out of this. The mass shootings, the innocent civilian casualties, murder, rape, violence. Kind of crazy that you would have people that would actively support that. There was even a pro-Palestine demonstration in New York City organized by the Democratic Socialists of America New York chapter, which actually a group of prominent Democrats are actually involved in that and have been self-proclaimed to be involved in that. The Democrat squad representatives, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which many of you know, and Jamal Bowman, who is the fire alarm puller when the government was supposed to vote to avert the shutdown and everything. Yeah, Both of them are self-proclaimed to be a part of this group. And so let's take a look at some of the footage from these protests, from these demonstrations that happened in New York just the other day.
New York City, you will see. New York City, you will see. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. New York City, you will learn. New York City, you will learn. By the millions will return.
So these socialists are supporting an active terrorist group in the Middle East, once again claiming that they're just all victims. They're victims of oppression, of colonization. This has sparked a lot of anti-Semitic rhetoric that would usually be called out by the left if any conservative were to say anything kind of near it. However, when it's something that they support, oh, no chance they're going to call that out. And we're going to get to that a little bit. I also want to point out that they're even starting, the left are even starting to put out propaganda. Once again, calling these terrorists, that's what they are, terrorists. They're calling them victims of all of this. They're all victims. And they're using Marxist, communist, socialist language. Once again, it was the Democratic Socialists of America that organized these rallies to support terrorists. So let's take a look at this video. This is actually a propaganda video that was already put out. I'll even take my banner off the bottom so you can read exactly what's being said in this. A propaganda video that was already put out by a leftist organization, the People's Forum, to support these terrorists. This is footage from the rallies over the weekend.
Comrades and friends, yesterday the world woke up to incredible news.
Yeah, incredible news. Terrorist attacks. That's what she's saying. Basically, this is somebody that if 9/11 were to have happened, this is in New York City. This is somebody who's basically cheering on a 9/11 level attack, but they're doing it in New York City because it supports their agenda.
The media will tell you that yesterday terrorists invaded Israel. But we know that actually what happened is that the oppressed people of Palestine broke out of the open-air prison.
No, it's not terrorist attacks. They were forced to do this because they live in oppression. Do they not realize that what extremist Muslims actually believe? These people that are usually like the DSA, Democratic Socialists, that are usually like super pro-feminism and feminist extremists, do they not realize what extremist Muslims believe? That women shouldn't drive cars, that women shouldn't get an education, like how oppressive the extremist Muslim faith actually is? Do they realize this? Imagine an LGBTQ member that walked up to or lived in Hamas-owned territory. What do you think would happen to them?
The resistance has shattered the settler colonial project and demonstrated that the Palestinian people have the right to resist. Our heroes from Gaza have broken down the border fence, emptied settlements, and shaken the false confidence of its occupiers.
If you listen to the media in this country, you will think the war started 48 hours ago. We know this war started 75 years ago. This war started hundreds of years ago. When the Americans plotted to create Israel.
Oh, so now it's the Americans' fault. It's the Americans' fault. Israel has been a thing for a lot longer than a few hundred years. Read the Bible. Oh, wait, you won't. You want to know why? Because most of these people are supportive of violent Muslim extremists. So they don't care about what the Bible has to say, even if you don't believe in the faith of it, it is still a historical document.
With no consultation to the Palestinian people.
Resistance against 75 plus years of brutal, horrific, Zionist war crimes, which amount to incremental genocide of the Palestinian people.
Remember she said that. Remember that she said that she's saying the Palestinians are the ones that genocide is being committed upon.
We demand all allies stand in full and unequivocal solidarity with the Palestinian struggle for liberation and return.
So as you can see, they're very supportive of the Palestinian terrorist attacks, the Hamas terrorist attacks, because apparently they're the ones that are having the genocide onto them. Okay, well, interesting, because at this New York City demonstration, there was actually a very interesting picture that was taken of a member of one of the pro-Palestinian demonstrators holding up this image. Take a look. Take a look right here. Yeah, holding up that image. A pro-Palestinian demonstrator holding up the image. Let's see if I can zoom in on it here. We're going to try to do this for you. Nope, it won't zoom in, but you can see right there, Nazi imagery at the pro-Palestinian demonstration. So here's what I'm learning. I don't know if you guys are following along like I am. When it comes to the lefties, the far left, they'll call out anytime that a Nazi sign or even some level of Nazi insignia, anything shows up at a rally that's conservative. Even if conservatives denounce it, they'll still claim that that's what conservatives are. They'll call Trump a Nazi or Hitler. They'll call me a Nazi or a fascist because I support conservative beliefs. And sometimes, a lot of times, I firmly believe that it's lefties that are going to the events trying to make conservatives look bad, but that's conspiracy theory, whatever. But now, at their own event, Nazi insignia shows up. And it would actually make sense. Why? Because these terrorists are actively killing innocent Jewish civilians in Israel. So why wouldn't they be sympathetic to the Nazi messaging that supports the killing of Jews and genocide? Why wouldn't they be? Look, this whole thing is insanity, and I only touched the surface as to everything that's within it. I was even considering not doing a video on it because the Israel-Palestinian conflict is so vast and massive. It's not necessarily complex, but there's just a lot to it and surrounding it. And so I know I boiled it down a lot here, but let's try to recap everything that I've covered as much as I can and boil it down to 3 simple facts. First off, Israel is no saint either, but they have been much more open to peace talks than Palestine ever has been with their violent Muslim extremists like Hamas, who literally carry out a terrorist attack, rape, pillage, murder, kidnap, all of it on a Jewish holiday, to the established state of Israel, which Palestine is not an established state of any kind. It hasn't been. Israel has been an established state for centuries. Palestine has never once been an actually established state. Be clear. And so another thing, second point, we should not be aiding either side of this war financially. I'd like to be clear. Just like Ukraine and Russia, we should not. We have our own issues at home to take care of. We have our own problems to deal with domestically. But the sad fact is that we have already aided in this war. Obama has sent a significant amount of funding to Iran. And like I said, we've aided in this war on the wrong side. Obama did that. It has been confirmed that Hamas was aided by Iran in this attack. Iran has publicly supported the terrorism that happened over the weekend. And Joe Biden, while I already mentioned Obama, Joe Biden on 9/11 of this year sent $6 billion to Iran in a prisoner swap on 9/11. Reports have also said and shown that Hamas has been using American weaponry in this terrorist attack. So we have already aided in this war, and not even on the right side of it. It is time that we need to focus on our own issues at home, securing our nation, securing our border, and stop fighting everyone else's wars. And so I will absolutely verbally support and pray for Israel as they fight genuine Muslim extremists. But our involvement needs to be minimal. It needs to be minimal. Because there is an opportunity with the way that our southern border is going, and we have no idea who's coming in there. There's no doubt that something like this absolutely could happen in America, domestically. Because these Palestinians, you heard this woman that was screaming in that video. They're not supportive of America. They do not support. I'd much rather be in some way supportive of Israel, who is much more friendly to America and what America stands for, than be in support of somebody who is diametrically opposed to America based on a false history that they've been taught. And that's the warning we have, guys. We need to secure our own nation, and that starts with our border. That starts with our schools, teaching history correctly and teaching children why they should love America and what there is to love America about. If I missed anything or if I screwed everything up, I'm not an expert in this. This is all based on everything that I can see in my knowledge of political science, which I have a degree, or I will soon have a degree in. So Let me know what you think in the comments, everybody. Like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, pray for Israel. I absolutely am in support of Israel. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And until next time, you've been watching Speechless. Cut for time.